Everyone thinks lumber prices are set by the sawmill. They're not. When you walk past a construction site or price out a deck, you're staring at a number that feels arbitrary. 2x4s cost what they cost because that's what the supplier charges, right? Wrong. That price is the final echo of decisions made months earlier in forests, in mills, and in the bedrooms of people who haven't started building yet. Understanding lumber pricing means tracing backward through a supply chain so tangled it rivals oil. Here's the accepted story. Trees get cut down, logs get milled into boards, contractors buy the boards, and prices reflect the cost of labor and transportation. Simple, logical, completely insufficient, because the real price is locked in long before any saw touches wood. It's locked in by something called stumpage, the price a timber company pays to harvest trees from public or private land. Stumpage prices fluctuate constantly. They're set by supply, how many harvestable trees exist in a given region, and by demand from mills competing to buy those logs. A mill in Oregon might bid against a mill in Washington for the same forest. That bidding war determines how much the timber company pays to harvest, and that cost flows downstream. Higher stumpage means higher mill costs, which means higher lumber prices at your local supplier. But here's where it gets stranger. Mills don't just react to stumpage prices, they predict demand, construction activity, housing starts, commercial projects, infrastructure spending. That's the real driver. When housing demand surges, contractors buy more lumber. Mills anticipate this and bid aggressively for logs months in advance. They're betting on future prices, not current ones. If they guess wrong, they absorb the loss. So the real culprit isn't sawmill greed or forestry scarcity alone. It's a three-way collision. How many trees are available to cut, how aggressively mills bid for those trees, and how many people are building homes or commercial spaces. When all three spike simultaneously, as happened in the early 2020s, prices don't just rise. They skyrocket. A 2x4 that cost $3 in 2019 hit $14 by mid-2021. What most people miss is the lag. Lumber prices are forward-looking. Mills order logs based on expected construction activity 6 months out. If housing demand suddenly collapses, say interest rates spike, mills are already locked into expensive timber contracts. They can't instantly adjust. Prices stay high even as demand craters, then they crash. This boom-bust cycle repeats every few years. Transportation amplifies everything. Logs are heavy. Moving them from forest to mill to distributor to your local yard costs money, and fuel prices matter. A spike in diesel doesn't just affect the trucker. It ripples backward, raising stumpage prices because mills account for higher transport costs when they bid. Suddenly, a global oil event reshapes the price of wood in your town. Regional scarcity compounds the problem. The Pacific Northwest has abundant forests and mills, so prices there are lower. The Southeast has fewer mills relative to demand, so prices climb. And as mills in one region get booked solid, demand spills into others, raising prices everywhere. Geography isn't destiny, it's just another variable in a system with dozens of pressure points. Here's why this matters. When you see a lumber price, you're not seeing the cost of cutting a tree. You're seeing a prediction about the future of housing, the price of diesel fuel, the availability of logs across multiple regions, and the bidding wars between mills. That price embeds months of speculation and supply chain anxiety. It's why lumber is one of the most volatile commodities traded, alongside oil and copper. The final piece, environmental and regulatory shifts reshape prices too. Logging restrictions in certain forests reduce available timber. Tariffs on imported lumber change the competitive landscape. Even pandemic-related mill shutdowns ripple forward as mills race to catch up on orders. Lumber isn't just a commodity. It's a mirror reflecting the health of housing, global trade, and resource management. So that price you saw at the lumber yard, it's not arbitrary at all. It's the convergence of tree availability, mill speculation, construction demand, fuel costs, regional capacity, and regulatory forces, all colliding in real time. That's why lumber costs what it does. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research. Subscribe to uncover the hidden supply chains behind the things you buy. There's a new economic story every week. This video is for educational and informational purposes only and is not financial advice. Always do your own research.